Imagine the ground beneath your feet suddenly becoming a violent ocean, buildings swaying, then collapsing like dominoes, the roar of destruction deafening. For a few terrifying moments, the very earth seems to turn against us. Earthquakes are one of nature's most powerful and unpredictable forces. They have shaped our planet and our history. They have also brought unimaginable devastation. Today, we're going to count down the 10 deadliest earthquakes ever recorded. These are the seismic events that truly shook humanity to its core. Before we delve into the tragic list, let's understand what we're talking about. An earthquake is the sudden, violent shaking of the ground. This shaking is caused by the movement of tectonic plates. These are massive slabs of rock that make up the Earth's outer layer. Our planet is not a solid and moving sphere. It's a dynamic system. These plates are constantly grinding past each other, pulling apart, or colliding. When the stress along their boundaries becomes too great, the rock breaks. This releases a tremendous amount of energy. That energy travels in waves through the Earth's crust. That's what we feel as an earthquake. The size of an earthquake is measured by its magnitude. This is a number that reflects the energy released at the source. The higher the magnitude, the more powerful the earthquake. But magnitude alone doesn't tell the whole story of an earthquake's impact. Many factors contribute to how deadly an earthquake becomes. These include population density in the affected area, building codes and construction quality, and the immediate aftermath, things like tsunamis or landslides. Our countdown begins in China with the Haiyuan earthquake. This devastating event occurred on December 16, 1920 in Haiyuan County, Ningxia Province, China. It registered a moment magnitude of 7.8. The earthquake triggered massive landslides, which buried entire villages. The ground liquefied in many areas, meaning solid ground behaved like a liquid. This made buildings sink. The cold winter weather also played a tragic role. Many survivors froze to death in the aftermath. What happened? The earthquake's epicenter was in a sparsely populated region. However, the intensity of the shaking was immense. It was felt across 7 provinces. Thousands of homes, mostly made of adobe and brick, collapsed instantly. The landslides were particularly destructive. They flowed down hillsides, sweeping away everything in their path. Some fissures in the ground were so large they were difficult to cross. Why it matters, an estimated 273,400 people lost their lives. This makes it one of the deadliest earthquakes of the 20th century. The sheer scale of the landslides and liquefaction was a stark reminder of secondary hazards. These hazards can be as deadly as the initial shaking. It highlighted the vulnerability of traditional building methods in earthquake zones. The 856 Damgan earthquake, Persia, modern-day Iran. We travel back over 1,000 years to the ancient world. The Damgan earthquake struck on December 22, 856 AD, in the ancient city of Damgan, which was then part of Persia. While precise magnitude measurements for ancient earthquakes are estimates, historical accounts suggest it was incredibly powerful. What happened? The earthquake completely destroyed the city of Damgan. It also caused widespread damage to surrounding towns and villages. Contemporary chroniclers described immense destruction. The region was a significant trade route, and many travelers were also caught in the disaster. Why it matters? Historical records indicate a death toll of approximately 200,000 people. This number is staggering for an era with much smaller populations. It demonstrates the destructive power of earthquakes even before modern urban development. It serves as a grim reminder that seismic activity has been a constant threat throughout human history. The 1138 Aleppo earthquake, Syria. Another ancient catastrophe, the Aleppo earthquake, struck on October 11, 1138. Aleppo was a major city in Syria, a bustling center of trade and culture. This earthquake occurred during a period of frequent seismic activity in the region. What happened? The city's citadel, a massive fortress, collapsed, along with countless homes and public buildings. Historical accounts describe widespread devastation across a large area. The earthquake was part of a series of tremors that affected the area for months. Why it matters: the death toll is estimated at around 230,000. This made it one of the deadliest earthquakes in recorded history at the time. Its impact was particularly severe because Aleppo was a densely populated city. The tragedy also occurred during a time of political instability, complicating relief efforts. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. Moving into the 21st century, we encounter a different kind of horror. On December 26, 2004, a massive earthquake struck off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. This was no ordinary tremor. It registered an astonishing moment magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3. It was one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded. What happened? The earthquake itself caused significant damage in Indonesia, but its true devastation came from the enormous tsunami it generated. The colossal waves, some reaching over 30 meters, 100 feet high, traveled across the Indian Ocean. They struck the coasts of 14 countries, from Indonesia to Africa, with little to no warning. Coastal communities were utterly annihilated. Why it matters: the 2004 event is estimated to have killed between 230,000 and 280,000 people. Many of the victims were tourists and local residents enjoying the holiday season. This event highlighted the urgent need for a robust tsunami warning system in the Indian Ocean. It led to significant international efforts to establish such a system. The sheer scale of international aid and cooperation in its aftermath was unprecedented. The 1556 Shaanxi earthquake, China. We return to China for arguably the deadliest single earthquake in history. On January 23, 1556, the Shaanxi earthquake struck during the Ming Dynasty. While its exact magnitude is debated by modern seismologists, historical accounts confirm its immense power. Estimates range from 8.0 to 8.3 magnitude. What happened? The earthquake struck an area where many people lived in artificial caves carved into loess cliffs. Loess is a fine, yellowish, wind-blown sediment. These caves provided cool shelter in summer and warmth in winter. However, they were incredibly vulnerable to seismic activity. The earthquake caused massive landslides and collapses of these caves. In some areas, the ground subsided by meters. Rivers changed course. Why it matters: the official death toll recorded in Chinese historical annals was 830,000 people. This number is astounding and makes it the deadliest earthquake ever recorded by a wide margin. The disaster led to a greater understanding of earthquake-resistant design in China. It also spurred extensive government relief efforts. The tragedy illustrates how local geological conditions and building practices can dramatically amplify an earthquake's lethality. The 1976 Tangshan earthquake, China. China, unfortunately, appears on our list again with a more recent catastrophe. The Tangshan earthquake struck on July 28, 1976 in the city of Tangshan, Hebei Province, China. It registered a moment magnitude of 7.6. This earthquake occurred in the middle of the night when most people were asleep. What happened? Tangshan was a major industrial city. Its buildings were largely unreinforced masonry, not designed to withstand such intense shaking. The earthquake leveled an astonishing 85% of the city's residential buildings. The ground violently undulated. Many people were trapped under rubble. Communication lines were severed, making immediate rescue difficult. Why it matters: the official death toll was initially reported as 255,000. However, some estimates suggest the actual number could be as high as 655,000. This makes it one of the deadliest earthquakes of the 20th century. The secrecy surrounding the event in Communist China initially limited international aid. The tragedy led to significant changes in China's earthquake preparedness and building codes. It forced a re-evaluation of seismic risk in urban areas. The 1755 Lisbon earthquake, Portugal. We traveled to Europe for a cataclysmic event that profoundly impacted philosophy and science. On November 1st, 1755, All Saints' Day, a massive earthquake struck off the coast of Portugal. Its magnitude is estimated between 8.5 and 9.0. What happened? The earthquake utterly devastated Lisbon, the capital city. Buildings collapsed and deep fissures opened in the ground. But the terror didn't end there. A massive tsunami with waves up to 20 meters, 66 feet high, swept over the city's Bexa downtown district. Fires, started by candles lit for the holiday, then raged for days, consuming what the earthquake and tsunami had spared. Why it matters? The earthquake killed an estimated 10,000 to 100,000 people in Lisbon alone. The exact number is debated. This event had a profound cultural and philosophical impact across Europe. It challenged the prevailing belief in a benevolent God and a perfect world. It also spurred early scientific studies into earthquake phenomena. It essentially gave birth to modern seismology. The reconstruction of Lisbon introduced some of the world's first earthquake-resistant building practices. The 1960 Valdivia earthquake, Chile. Our next entry is the most powerful earthquake ever recorded. On May 22, 1960, the Valdivia earthquake struck southern Chile. Its moment magnitude was an unimaginable 9.5. What happened? The shaking lasted for an astonishing 10 minutes. It caused immense landslides, volcanic eruptions triggered by the shaking, and widespread structural damage across a vast area of Chile. But like the 2000 for Indian Ocean earthquake, its global impact came from the tsunami it generated. Waves traveled across the Pacific Ocean, causing casualties and damage in Hawaii, Japan, and the Philippines. Why it matters? Well, the direct death toll from the earthquake in Chile was relatively low for such a powerful event, around 1,655 people. Its global reach and the sheer force of its tsunami were unparalleled. It reshaped the landscape of southern Chile. It served as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our planet's systems. This earthquake provided invaluable data for the development of modern seismology and tsunami warning systems. It demonstrated the far-reaching impact of megathrust earthquakes. The 1923 Great Kanto earthquake, Japan. Japan, a nation all too familiar with earthquakes, experienced one of its greatest tragedies on September 1, 1923. The Great Kanto earthquake struck the Kanto Plain, including the major cities of Tokyo and Yokohama. It registered a magnitude of 7.9. What happened? The earthquake caused widespread structural damage. But its deadliest consequence was the massive firestorms that erupted in its aftermath. Strong winds fanned hundreds of smaller fires, which merged into giant infernos. These firestorms engulfed vast sections of Tokyo and Yokohama. Many people sought refuge in open spaces, but even there, they were often consumed by fire whirlwinds, which were massive columns of fire. A tsunami also struck coastal areas. Why it matters? The death toll is estimated at between 100,000 and 142,800 people. Most perished in the fires. The earthquake fundamentally reshaped Japan's urban planning and disaster preparedness. It led to stricter building codes and better emergency response strategies. It also, tragically, led to xenophobic violence against Korean residents in the chaos of the aftermath. The Great Kanto earthquake remains a powerful lesson in the cascading effects of natural disasters. The 2010 Haiti earthquake. Topping our list, and as a stark reminder of modern vulnerabilities, is the 2010 Haiti earthquake. On January 12, 2010, a shallow but powerful magnitude 7.0 earthquake struck near Léogâne, just west of the capital, Port-au-Prince. What happened? Despite a moderate magnitude compared to others on this list, the earthquake's shallow depth and proximity to a densely populated urban area proved catastrophic. Haiti was, and remains, one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. Building codes were often non-existent or not enforced. Many structures were built poorly with unreinforced concrete. These buildings pancaked. The entire city of Port-au-Prince was brought to its knees. Hospitals, schools, and government buildings collapsed. The infrastructure was completely destroyed. Why it matters: the death toll estimates vary widely, from 100,000 to an astonishing 316,000 people. This makes it one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. The earthquake highlighted the devastating impact of seismic events on vulnerable populations and fragile infrastructure. The international community mounted a massive relief effort, but Haiti's recovery has been long and arduous, plagued by political instability and subsequent disasters. It served as a tragic global wake-up call about urban resilience in developing nations. The stories of these 10 earthquakes are a sobering reminder of Earth's immense power. They're tales of destruction, loss, and unimaginable suffering, but they are also stories of human resilience, of communities rebuilding, of scientists learning, of engineers innovating. We cannot prevent earthquakes, but we can prepare for them. Through understanding plate tectonics, enforcing rigorous building codes, developing early warning systems, and fostering community preparedness, we can mitigate their devastating impact. These events remind us that we share this dynamic planet with forces far beyond our control. Our best defense lies in knowledge, preparation, and our unwavering commitment to protect human life.